Hey everyone, I'm Laxon, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to use lists in Python. What is a list? A list is an ordered collection of data that can be of any type. It allows you to store multiple items in one variable. So how do you want to create a list? Creating a list is easy. All you need to do is enclose your items in square brackets and separate them with commas. For example, we can create a list of numbers like this. So we can name our list my list is equals to like first square brackets, of course, and one, I would say maybe two, I'll say three here, as you can see here. So accessing items. So how can one access items from a list? You can access items in a list. You have to like simply just refer to the index number. For example, if we wanted to access the first item in the list, we could use, let's just say maybe we want to print the value, of course, of the first item in the list in this list. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna say my list square brackets. This is how you do it. Then the index number 0. So what this means is that all these items in the list, they have what we call index, or I would say position numbers. So this one is on position 0, this one is on position 2, and this one is on position okay, 0, 1, and 2, as you can see here. So just like that, as if it has like 100 items, it will pretty much go as just like that. So it will be incrementing as you are adding items or something like that. So for us to access the first item in this list, we have to pass in the index or the positional number, as you can see here. So my list 0, so 0 we're talking about 1, so that's how we get 1. So if we run this, you're gonna notice that it's gonna print out 1. The reason why it's printing out 1 is because the value that's on index 1, it's 1. But the value that's on index 0, sorry, it's 1, as you can see here. So if we want to access 3, we can pretty much do 2 because it's 0, 1, 2, as you can see here. So here, if you run this, it's gonna print out 3. So that's how it is. So you can add as many items as you can to this list. So for you to add an item to a list, so adding items to a list is as easy as accessing the items to a list. So we can use the append method to add items to the end of the list. So what we can do actually, we can just do maybe like just say my list, just say dot append. That's how you access the methods of different data types, by the way. So dot append, so just say dot append like this, and we can add maybe like 10 or something. So here 10 will be on position 3. So like 1 is on position 0, and 2 is on position 1, 3 is on position 2, and 10 will be on position 3. So if we pass in 3 here, you'll notice that let me just clear this screen. You notice it's gonna bring 10. Why? Because 10 is on position 3, as you can see. So that's the thing. But the other thing that you have to know is that let's just say we assign we append, actually we add 10 to the list after we print. So what will happen here is going to give you an error. It will tell you that the index error, as you can see here, it tells you that list index out of range. The reason why it's saying this is because currently, right now, when it comes to running the program, it runs from top to bottom. So it will run line 1, and it will run line 3. Then after that, that's when it runs line 5. The reason why it's the reason why it's out of range is because we are printing we're trying to print 10 before we even assign it or before we even add it to the list. You get the point? So for you to print 10, you have to print it after you assign it. That's what happens. So that's the only time you can have access to it, after you have added it to the list. So here we can be able like to print it because we add it, then that's when we print it. So if we run this again, you notice that it's going to print 10 because it adds first, and after adding it to the list, that's when we are printing it. So yeah, so if you come across that error, just know that you're trying to print something that's not in the list yet. So that's what's happening here. Yeah. So so apart from adding, you can also remove an item from the list. So to remove items from a list, we can use the remove method. For example, to remove the item, like for example, let's just say we want to remove 3 from the list. What we can do, actually, we can just say, okay, before we remove the item, I want you to show you that you can also print the list just by saying print my list. Let me just do this. You can print the whole list by doing this, and it's gonna print the whole list here, as you can see. So let's just say maybe we want to remove item number, let's just say we want to remove 2 example from the list. So what we can do, actually, we can just say my list dot remove 2. We just pass in the value that we want to remove, and from there we can print uh, my list again, just to check whether the number has been removed. So if we run this, you'll notice that the first print, it's printing a whole list. The reason why it's printing the whole list is because we haven't like removed the item. Then after it prints this, of course, on line 5, that's where we are removing the item. Then once we remove the item on line 7, we're printing the list again. This time the list will just have 2 items. We'll have 1 and 3, as you can see here. So if you want to access 3, it will be on position what? It will be on position 1, because 1 is on position 0, then 3 is on position 2. So we can try to print the value of 3 by just saying my list 2. Oh, actually 1, sorry. Then if we run this, okay, let's just clear our screen so that we can have everything. Yeah, as you can see here, so it's gonna print 3 because here the items will remain. There will only be 2 items. One will be on position 0 and the other one will be in position 1. So we print the whole list. This is the list that we just the new list that we have, and from here we have we're trying to access the item that's on position 1, which is 3. Yeah. So then the other thing that you guys can do, the other amazing thing that you can do, at some point maybe you would want to print these items individually. Maybe you want to print the item on first line and the other one on the second line, just like that. So what you can do, actually, you can just use what we call a for loop. So we can use a for loop to loop through a list. For example, if we wanted to print each item in the list, we can use let's just say for item in my list here. So we're gonna print item here. So if we run this, you'll notice that it's going to print the items, as you can see here. So it first starts with 1, which is the first item in the list. It's gonna print 2, which is the second item in the list, and it's gonna print 3, which is the third item in the list. And the other thing that you guys have to know is that you can add different data types actually to a list. A list, I would say it's a dynamic data type that can contain pretty much any type of data, I would say. Yeah. So it can also contain a list in a list. A list can contain another list in it. So we can append, maybe, like, let's just try to append let's try to add a string to it. So here we can add my name. Let's just Laxon. Can add Laxon to it. And if we run this, you notice that it's gonna print everything together with Laxon, as you can see, because we have added Laxon to it. And what else can we add to this thing? We can also add another list. Like I said, you can add different data types. You can add another list. So this time, maybe this list would be a list of fruits. It will be apple. What can I say? So say banana or something. Okay. So banana. The pineapple. Okay, let me start with the capital letter. Okay, pineapple. I think that's how you spell pineapple. That's what yeah. So that's the thing. So we've appended this one, and we've also appended a list that has strings in it, as you can see here. So let's just clear the whole thing so that we can just like have everything. So as you can see, it'll print this, it'll print this, it'll print this, and it's gonna print another list here. So apart from this, you can also just print directly list, a whole list, which is print my list, so that you can see everything in one line. And yeah, let's clear this. And as you can see here, so there's the first item, which is 1, the second item, which is 2, and the third 3. There's Laxon, and there's another list. I'm sure right now you're wondering how you can access the items in the list that's inside this list. So for you to access the items inside this list, what you can do actually, you can just do this. Of course, you have to know where the list is, the position of the list. So as you can see here, so I'd say 0, which is 1, 0, 1, 2. The other thing, actually, the fastest way to print out the last item in the list, you can use a negative, by the way. If you can use a -1, if you say -1, you're talking about the last item in the list. So the last item in the list is a list here, as you can see here. So meaning that if I do this, if I print the last item in this list, so let me just do this. Yeah, my list. It's gonna give me um, the last item in this list, which is another list, as you can see here. So for me to access the items in this list, I'm just supposed to throw another square bracket. So already we have reached the first list. So the first square bracket here is accessing the item in the list. Then the second one is accessing the list that's inside the list. So for us to print apple, we can just pass in 0. So if you pass in 0, then we run this thing, it's going to print apple, as you can see. So if we want to print pineapple, we can also pass in another -1 just to print the last item in that list. So it's going to print pineapple, some kind of a thing. So this is how you can access, I would say maybe it's a multi-dimension list. I don't know. Yeah, I think something like that. But if you want to access items that are inside another list, this is how you can do it, by the way. So if let's just say this list, it has another list again, you just have to throw another square bracket just like that. That's how you access items in such lists. So I think that's it for this tutorial. You should now have a good understanding of how to use list in Python. So thanks for watching, and remember to like, share, and subscribe. Bye bye.